Yes, thank you very well. Good evening, and thank you very much for being here on a World Cup Friday night. And we're very excited to have Matias Penachino here to discuss his film. So what we'll do is that I'll make some questions, and then we'll open it for you to ask whatever you want about the film that you just saw. Uh, so I was talking to Matias a few minutes ago, and something that I told him about his film is that, as you must have seen, well, the framing of his images is so precise. He really knows what he wants to show in his film. But of course, it's not only that. It's not only the framing, but also the tension that you are creating through the stories of the characters, the way you are portraying each of the characters, and the relationship that they have between mostly between the two brothers. Would you like to comment on that? The interplay between, let's say, the form, the visuals of the film, and the tension, the relationships within the film.
Yeah. Before anything, he's Gore Abrams. He's one of the actors, and he's not an actor because before talking about the framing, I wanna talk about the nature of the movie. This movie is made of a real family of real stories, and the framing is just the way I see things. So that framing, maybe it's crazy to see the world like that, but that's the way I see rooms, the way I see light, and all that. And that was this is for me that's the achievement of this movie because it's practically a documentary in a way. Almost everything is real. The rooms, the light, the actions, everything that happens is real. Like these characters, this guy and his brother, they live like well, I plotted a little bit. They're not like that at all. But yeah, so that framing in a way is the way I see things. But for this movie, that it's a documentary, I wanted to shoot it like that strong. I didn't want to do like a handheld language, and I just wanted to like one image means something that has something before and has something after, and that's the premise. I don't know if that answers that.
This is something that I suppose is taking place not only in Latin American cinema but all over the world. Is that we're seeing filmmakers with different backgrounds. Some that have had formal education in filmmaking, some others that don't, uh, and the outcomes are very diverse. What's your own background in filmmaking? How did you get to make this film?
Well, I studied architecture, and then I studied cinema, directing cinema, and after that I quit it, and I traveled to Mexico when I was like 20, 1920, and I started working in advertising as a director until one day I realized that that wasn't my stuff, and I started doing my movies, and that's pretty much what I did. I became a cinematographer, and I did like 8 features now, and I feel really comfortable with the idea of directing, writing, and also being the eyes of the movie and looking through it.
Well, now that you're mentioning this, that you didn't feel that you belong to the world of publicity, I'm remembering one film that was screened relatively recently in Mexico. Something out of the ordinary happens in the film. Basically, the plot of the film is that a woman does, she learns that her husband to be is being unfaithful, so she gets drunk, and after being drunk for a whole night, she ends up in the deep jungle of the south of Mexico. So as you can see, it's something totally crazy, something that has nothing to do with the kind of cinema that Matias is doing. Um, But many people that are in favor of that kind of cinema would say that nothing happens in films like the one that we just seen. However, I would say that there's plenty of things going on in the film. We learn that there is some radioactivity in the environment. A young man learns that his health is threatened. So, can you tell us a bit about this choice of taking the way of subtlety rather than that of craziness, like in the Mexican film that I described?
Well, the idea for this, I repeat, it was a documentary, and for me, a way to show life is to show these uh, regular actions. Like this guy is like just going to bed, or he's speaking with his friend, or he's going to the doctor. And for me, that's too much to happen in a way. You don't have to. I don't know. You don't have to explode a bomb or make a complot to government or whatever. It's like this is too much, and this is how everyone lives. So I couldn't say that nothing happens. And on the background, we have three lines. We can have this radioactive, like atomic age going through. That happened maybe years ago. But I wanted to put that to create this environment of this country or no land that it's also dying in a way. It's this danger is like all the time present, and yeah, that is the way that I created this environment for not making this film just actions and actions and actions, and making it a little bit richer than what it is.
Yeah, I totally agree that plenty of things are going on in this film. But let me play devil's advocate.
Yeah.
Some critics are claiming that this type of film, minimalist films, that they have become a formula for films to get into the festival circuit. Uh, what would your answer be to such a claim? What again made you make the film the way it is?
Well,
Not in
uh, I don't feel I do things for critics, and I don't do anything for festivals at all. So starting at that base, I think this the language and the formula of this film is pretty honest, and that would be the answer in a way.
Well, one final question before we take your questions. Well, this film is part of the Focus on Mexico of the Eastern Film Festival, and yet it's a film made by Matias, who was born in Argentina. So we're watching a film shot in the U.S. with U.S. People that is made by someone who's living in Mexico, who has been living for quite a long time in Mexico. So in the film, we see this eruption of the Mexican in the form of these people who are making a traditional dance and are even they have the image of the most revered religious image of Mexico, the so-called Virgin of Guadalupe. Uh, is there a need for the national in contemporary filmmaking? Do you feel that there's any need of being Argentinian, of being Latin American, Mexican filmmaker, or what's your relationship with this issue of nationality?
Well, there's two things. One is this movie was shot in Bushwick, and Bushwick is a multinational society nowadays and forever it's been. So one of the needs of placing this Mexican society, Mexican thing on the movie was to build a little bit more the environment of New York in a way. But also I always like to represent where I come from and what I am. So it was almost a need to have this representation of Latin America in the movie.
Thank you. So would anyone want to start the questions from the audience?
When I read the film synopsis, the first thing that came to my head was Easy Rider, and that kind of stuck in my head whilst I watched the film. Did you kind of intend that, like, did you anticipate people might like think that because like the story of two people kind of like cool that like into like drugs or whatever, traveling the country might be like what comes to the audience's head when they read the synopsis or watch the film?
Well, the synopsis, I think someone of here at the festival wrote it. I didn't really agree with what they wrote. The fact is, there's cool people there is because my friends are cool, and they brought the story to me, and this is a documentary, so it wouldn't be truthful with what they are and what I am to turn them into something else. So the drugs and how they dress and how they live is part of what I was living at that point. So it's not like I based this story on movies or something.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I didn't mean it's based on movies. I just mean like.
No. I'm not trying to. Yeah.
That's good.
Thank you.
Did you want to try and like show something with like the first half of the film seemed to be like with the cool guys and the drugs and stuff, and then he learns about his health problems and then returning home into a lot more like simpler life with the children? Did you want to like show a contrast between? That's what I felt like from the film, like the contrast between them, and then the second half being like a lot more loving situations.
Yeah, that's the idea of the whole thing. Is this guy is I feel really how do you say this? I compare myself a lot sometimes, or maybe a few years ago, of how I was living the first part of the movie, and the second part of the movie, me that I'm a person that lives a few kilometers away from my family. For me, like going to my family is redemption. And when I'm there with them, I feel everything is good, even if you have a health problem or whatever. So that's the whole idea. It's like the life we live every day, this kind of transition, and then when they get to home, everything changes.
Just to put this distance in context, I could tell you that the distance between Mexico City and Argentina is pretty much that of Mexico City and London. So when he's saying that he's quite far from his family, he really is.
Yeah.
I think there was another question there, no?
Someone in the back.
I was just saying, you mentioned working with friends. Did you already know everybody who was in the cast of the film, or was there any casting process, or did that just come out?
Yeah, I was shooting a movie in New York as a DP, and he was one of the actors and producers of that movie. So I became really good friends with him and his brother, and they told me about their family, their actual family. And I'm a only child, and I always had this need or necessity to go through personal relationships and more like brotherhood and also more like blood relationships. Blood. So when they told me about their family and all these younger kids that they were adopted and they weren't really blood related to their family, I really wanted to go through that to explore myself in a way.
And Matias came. He came to Washington and kind of earned everybody's respect. The whole family. So he kind of became part of the family. And like 6 months, a year prior to shooting.
Yeah.
And got to know them.
Yeah, that was the main idea. In a way, for me, this movie means, like in a way, like having another family that's not yours and being a brother of someone that's not blood related with you. Even with these guys, they allowed everyone put a camera over the table. I don't know what's the other one. Sorry, I got lost.
It was like there was no camera around. It was so natural that everything was just honest. I could feel that. Did you ever talk about that before you start the film? Like just tell them be natural or something, or just they naturally was like that.
Well, the way I shot this, we shot this, was the camera had to be friends with them before, and maybe it's a cliche telling it like that, but sometimes I would just make something happen and leave the camera there, and the sound guy would put a microphone, and we should leave the room. Or other times they got used to the camera and they were playing with it. They were really happy to be themselves in a way.
I think a lot of times, a lot of the scenes, people, the family, they really wanted to like also show like they started to get what you were doing and wanted to be as truthful as possible, even in like a calculated way. Like if it was set up, they would be like, I really want to express something, and I'm just gonna like, and you would cut around that to not show any bullshit, but I think
Yeah, it was
everybody kind of got on board with what you were.
Yeah, it was kind of a therapy, a video therapy.
It was.
Yeah, for everyone.
Because it was so like realistic and honest, and because you knew the cast and it's like a whole family, were you ever conscious that it might come out as like offensive or like it might hurt the members of the cast? That were like you ever like insulted or offended by any like when you watch the film? Did you ever think like, you know, I'm not self-conscious or anything?
Sorry.
I think he means like, were we ever worried about?
Yeah, like were you worried that like because it was realistic and they're your friends that you might like offend them with the way that it would come out?
We talk about that after we would shoot things, like, and there's a lot of things that are not in the film, not because they were offensive, but just because they didn't work for the purposes of the film.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of, but I think that we all just trusted each other. We all knew what the end goal was to make something that was truthful, and maybe if it was embarrassing, it would at least be honest. And I think that, and you did a really good job about like getting the, and my family, by the way, is like extremely private, has been my entire life, like incredibly private, would never be like in the phone book or anything. And Matias came and met them, and I had never seen anything like it. They really wanted to like, I don't know, he brought like a really beautiful energy, and they wanted to give him whatever he needed. And I think that there will be moments in the movie when they do see it that they will be like maybe like squeamish, but I know they'll be proud of it because we knew what we were doing. I think too, like, and we would all joke about it, and we would all get fucked up afterwards. We'd all get drunk every night and talk about it, and like it was so honest. It wasn't like we would shoot these scenes and then like he would go away to a room and like get on his computer and start editing. Like we would discuss everything every night. And, I don't know. It was a really trusting environment, I guess. If that answers.
I just want to know something, like how apathic are you guys? Because at the beginning, like the
How
first half,
pathetic?
apathic, like the first 40 minutes is like you and your brother just don't care about anything at all.
Yeah.
Like you're basically kind of dying and hurt and things going on.
I mean,
but
don't we all
nothing
kind of feel like that a lot
comes through
of
basically.
the time, or is that just me? Don't we all?
I know.
feel
I don't
this
know.
way?
I guess I wanted to know because at the end you were clearly alive. You know,
Right.
Yeah.
when you're with your family. In the entire first half of the movie, you seem like kind of walking zombies to me in a way, which I don't know if it's good or bad. I just wanted to know how much of that was real, and how you know.
Well, I feel light needs darkness in a way. No, and that's the way that's what they want to move. That's that's the motor to go to. They need to feel alive, so they have to be dead to feel alive. And I feel really related to that in a way too.
It was not like judgmental or
Oh,
No,
no,
not at
no,
all.
it's
Not at
just
all.
like I
No,
wonder
no.
how much was it on purpose. Or
Not at all.
and-
No, no.
Like, what was it? Was it on purpose? You mean? Like,
Yeah, no, how much was it like planned?
I think it really was kind of how it was too.
Yeah.
I think he was kind of the scenario kind of came because
It's your room.
we were
It's your
kind of
bed.
yeah. I think that was
It's
yeah. I
how
think,
he takes a shit every morning.
yeah.
No, I
Yeah,
know,
it's
but
real.
there are
Not anymore,
elements,
I've got-
you know,
I'm
there are
better
elements like the fight with a girlfriend and the fact that someone hit you and you're kind of hurt, but we don't know why, and your brother's kind of need your heart transplant, but no one's saying anything about it. And that's how it moves, you know, it just goes on without no one taking up account that something big might be happening.
Yeah, that's really important for me of this movie. I really like that the plot is minimal, and maybe they could be another movie that this guy's in New York and not doing anything until from nothing he says, I want to go see the kids. And the other guy that has the main problem, has the health problems, he doesn't say anything. I really like that. That's honest. That's naturalism for me. It's like you don't have to explode a building for change your life. It's just maybe your brother feels that something is wrong, and he just says, "I want to go see the kids." And yeah, there were zombies. We were.
Total all of us. We all, the whole crew too. We like lived. What was the shoot like 2 months? But we worked on it for like a year before, like just thinking about it, just talking about it casually, as you do when you're gonna make a movie. We all ended up getting scabies during the movie because we were all sleeping in the same bed and swapping clothes. I think
Yeah,
we all used each other's shoes for all of your clothes are in the movie too. Cause
yeah. It was like no, put this.
Yeah.
We're sleeping on the floor on Jordan's bed.
yeah,
And Jordan's
we all got
house.
scabies, which I thought was just a third world disease.
Well,
Anybody else? I think there's one here.
And we saved it.
Just a question about the scene with the cow. Like, did you actually
I was
shoot
about
the
that.
cow as well?
Yes.
Like, in real
Yes.
life? Because I think that's quite unnecessary for a film. Like, don't like as a vegetarian, if I'd have known, I wanted to come see a film, pay my money towards something that has killed someone. And as you say with the action scenes, I don't have to come for that, but this is quite like brutal. You don't want it to be action, but this is like very.
yeah. For me, the cow is the most honest shot in the movie because it's the only way for me to tell that there's life and there's death. You know, everything else is just a plot, and everything else is just a fucking idea.
Yeah, like I did.
And
Even
that
though
scene is just.
I did like the death of the cow, I did like quite like the way around that they'd been zombies and then there was like this death and then they were like, God sort himself out now. Go and see the kids and like
Yeah, no.
it's going awful and then like I don't know if that was kind of like
Yeah, in a way, for the structure of the movie can be a plot. Like after that, they do some things and they act something, and then they do some other things. But for me, for the movie and for this, the symbolism for me is like the actual death and the actual living there, in a way. And that's why I wanted to put it.
So as you say, you want to kind of show or feel or like show that death and living exist. But then don't you think you could do the same thing? You can actually kill someone for real. So
Well, if the movie,
obviously it's a movie.
If
But
it calls for
I
it.
don't think it's necessary. You know, you're not going to kill him, you know, because it's just for the movie. So that, you know, I really love the film. I just found perfect. So it's beautiful or documentary, whatever. But that, I don't know. I just don't have anything to say, to be honest. It's quite unnecessary. I mean,
Well,
I understand what you're
respect
saying.
everyone's-
You know, that's the my opinion.
Yeah, no.
But it just makes me look like shaky, and you know, you could actually just kill someone to show, you know, because just for the film, and I want to just show live and that
it's a
is
good
exist.
idea.
You know, that's my opinion.
Surely, if you're not vegetarian though, then that is reality. Like cows are killed for you. Like, as a director, if you're vegetarian, you know. That
It's
is
about being
real.
vegetarian and not, isn't it?
Well, in a way, yeah. Well, I eat a cow every 2 months. I'm Argentinian and we eat too much meat. And
So did
for
you-
me, it's like it's honest. Like maybe just see that in camera, and after that eating it. It's for like it's a part of knowing myself in a way and becoming honest with myself too. I don't fear that, and then I go to eat a hamburger. It's the same thing. But
It's nice that that is honest in that sense. Obviously, it's different, but it's bad, but it's nice.
sorry.
Even though you pute afterwards, which shows that you think it's disgusting, like, but you still sort of accept that in a way that that's where it comes from.
Yeah, that the puking was
The smell.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
it wasn't
Kind of aroma
No,
there.
Jordan's no, but yours.
Cut that cow open.
Yeah, the smell of all the things. It was pretty gross.
I think somebody else had a comment somewhere there.
Sorry.
I wanted to ask, was the guy going to shoot the cow anyway, or was it, you know, in the screenplay?
No, it's in the script, but he used to work as
butcher.
a butcher. Yeah.
If you were not there filming, you would have shot the cow anyway. So
Some the cow was it was a meat. I don't know I don't want to say the wrong thing, but it was a meat cow. Like
yeah, that's right.
we bought it. We had a butcher
Rare
who
for me.
not to pussyfoot around. I'm not sure.
Yeah, this guy,
Right.
Joe on them, the guy that was in the army, he's a real war veteran.
Mhm.
He's 20, 25, 26,
And that's what he does.
27.
27 now. When he left home at 18, he went to a farm in Montana of his uncle, and he was a butcher for 2 years before he signed into the army. And because I met him, I wrote about it. I mean, he doesn't kill cows with an AK-47.
He doesn't.
That was like part of building this hillbilly Middle America kind of thing.
I've got another question. You were saying at the beginning that the film is a documentary, so most of what we've seen is real. That's the word that you
Yeah.
use. So what is not real as in fiction?
Almost. Well, the
Jordan
guy is
dying.
not dying. The heart problem is not.
See, that's it.
Okay.
That's the only thing that's not true.
Mhm.
That's it.
So why did you decide to put that in?
Because I just wanted. I had to make a movie. A movie movies
To add a bit of
needs
drama.
plots. Yeah. So I added that plot.
That was kind of the first idea for the movie too.
But I mean, you were saying that you wanted to
Catalyst.
show life as it is. You know, just the images to tell the stories, and life is already full as
Yeah.
it is. You know, as it goes on. So why did you feel the need of dramatizing with a life-threatening situation, heart transplant, and these sort of things?
Because I made a mistake when I was a child that was studying cinema. And in cinema school, they told me that films needs plots, and I had this trauma.
Okay.
But it was
So
also
that was your concession, you know. Your
No,
opinion.
this is pretty serious. It's
Yeah,
like
I'm
it's real.
serious as
I
well.
have this chip that I need a plot to tell a story sometimes.
But his character also is kind of witnessing life and death throughout the entire film, whether it's with his brother or with his in his dreams or with the cow. with his family. I mean, he's kind of seeing sacrifice in life and death throughout the film. So I think it was
Yeah,
kind
it's
of a
similar.
catalyst for that, right?
Yeah.
So
So it was
We
functional.
have time for two last questions, so I think we have one here.
Have you ever considered being a documentary maker, considering like you like reality so much and trying to get away from, you know, like I don't know, something, getting away from fiction? If you want like real, have you ever considered like, you know, just making documentaries?
No, not at all. Well, this is maybe it's tough to say, but I feel like Godard once said in an interview that documentaries are for people, for filmmakers that they don't have imagination. And yeah, maybe it's pretty rude in a way, but I'm not into documentaries because I really wanna put my input in what I see, and just putting one plot, it's worth the whole story. You know, a documentary is what it is, and it's not just the way you narrate it, and it's just not just the way you put it all together. For me, what I do is modificating all that. And this is not a documentary, and it's not a fiction. It's something in between.
Yeah.
And I like that because it makes me go for more.
So now we have to take the last question. No more questions?
What's next?
Or we're doing another one. But it's like the next one is based on a real story, but it's not a documentary. It's about that therapist, and it's about like an escort therapist. That always goes with the people that's gonna get the therapy.
Well, thank you very much, Matias.
thank you.